California traffic laws and illegal U-turns. In California, you are limited as to when you are legally allowed to make a U-turn. Just to be clear, a U-turn involves making a 180-degree turn that results in you traveling in the opposite direction from which you started. If you are caught making an illegal U-turn, it is highly likely that you will be given a ticket. You will then be required to pay a fine, and your insurance rates may be affected too. If your U-turn resulted in damage to another car or the injury of another person, you could end up facing even harsher consequences. If you are able to prove that your U-turn wasn't illegal, you may have the chance to get out of your ticket. In this situation, you should read the text of the law so you can understand whether every single element of the U-turn law applies to you. The Californian U-turn laws. There are a few different U-turn laws which will apply depending on where you were at the time you made the U-turn. Whether you were in a business or residential district, or you were in neither districts, there will be a U-turn law that applies to you. Business districts, making a U-turn. By law, no one can make a U-turn in a business district unless they are at an intersection or they are on a divided highway where there is an opening that has been provided. When making a U-turn where allowed, the turn should be made as close to the left-hand edge of the lanes that are moving in the driver's direction prior to starting the turn. Drivers can only do this when there are two or lanes headed in the direction they were originally traveling in. If there are signs that tell you not to make a U-turn, you must refrain from making one. If you are given a ticket because you made a U-turn, it may work in your favor if you were in a business district at the time. Residential districts, making a U-turn. No one is permitted to make a U-turn when there is a vehicle approaching from any direction within 200 feet of you. The exception to this rule is when you are at an intersection and any approaching traffic is controlled by traffic lights or other devices. A residential district is an area that contains at least 16 homes or businesses within 1/4 of a mile. If the homes or businesses are on one side of the road, then the area is considered to be residential if there are at least 13 homes or businesses. If you received a ticket for violating Section 22,130, but you are able to prove that you were not in a residential area or there were no cars within 200 feet that were approaching you, you may be able to win your fight to get the ticket voided. In addition to this, if you can prove that you were making a U-turn in an intersection that was controlled by a stoplight or a sign, again, you may be able to win your fight. Unobstructed views. If you do not have an unobstructed view on a highway, you should not make your turn. You should have at least 200 feet worth of unobstructed view in both directions. If you do not happen to be in a residential or business district, again, you should have at least 200 feet worth of unobstructed view in both directions. If you drive over double yellow lines, you should still make sure you have an unobstructed view. However, if the lines are more than 2 feet across, you may be able to fight your ticket as these lines indicate that you are about to enter a divided highway. Making a turn in a driveway. If you make a left turn into your driveway or any driveway, and you back out and drive off in the opposite direction, this will not be counted as a U-turn. Have a U-turn ticket. Is a lawyer needed? If you got a ticket for making a U-turn and the situation was quite straightforward, you may not need the help of a lawyer when it comes to fighting your case. If you were not driving negligently, and you were not in a residential area, you should be able to fight the ticket yourself. However, if you made an illegal U-turn and you were driving while drunk, it would make sense for you to hire a lawyer. If you injured someone while making an illegal U-turn, they could take you to court and make a personal injury claim against you. If you are taken to court for injuring someone whilst making an illegal U-turn, you could lose your license, or depending on the injuries, you could face time in jail.